and welcome to the F1 Esports Series Pro Championship 2022. After what has been the most competitive and exciting series in the history of F1 Esports, we came to the last event knowing that it was a five-way fight to the Drivers' Championship. 335 laps and 11 races later, we come to this moment right here. One race left to decide, will it be the roll of a dice, a moment of sheer brilliance, or a cool, calm, collected head that will decide the Drivers' Champion for 2022?
It is time!
What better thing to watch right now than the F1 Esports Series? Just have to look at the top five and the amount of points separating them all.
And we go racing! Lucas Blakely wins the opening race of the year!
Lucas Blakely is the winner! Sensational stuff!
Lucas Blakely wins at Zandvoort for his third win of the season! Thomas Ronhaar across the line to become a winner! The best F1 Esports race of the year! Thomas Ronhaar has won his second race! It's Barry Borman who is the winner! Look what it means! You are an F1 Esports winner! It's been a Silverstone masterclass for Freddie Rasmussen, the man who has more wins than any other driver in F1 Esports. Jarno Opmeer is a winner again in F1 Esports. He takes his first win of the year. Jarno Opmeer, the winner. Yes, that really did just happen. Oh, no, he's round. Opmeer out.
We'll have a brand new champion.
What a fab forward we have the rest of this event.
At Brazil, it's pedal to the metal. Go, 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 go. Looks very much like the Haas's day is done. Lucas Blakely wins, and it'll go all the way to Yas Marina at Abu Dhabi.
Yes, indeed, it does come down to Yas Marina to decide who will be the Drivers' Champion. As you can see by the scores there, it is down to 3 drivers. Mathematically, I'm speaking. Thomas Ronhaar in third place, Freddie Rasmussen in second, and Lucas Blakely, he just needs to finish in 7th place to get those all-important 5 points to make sure he gets this first maiden world title. So, here we are then, the Gfinity Arena. I don't know about you, Hayden Gullis, but I feel a little bit emotional. It's the last event that's going to ever happen at this arena. And emotional scenes will definitely happen if Lucas Blakely picks up that trophy.
Yeah, I mean, we saw yesterday how much it meant to him to get that race win and put himself firmly in the hot seat for this championship. So to finally come across the line and to take it, I cannot wait to see that.
I cannot wait. I'll be surprised, as George Morgan always says, expect the unexpected. Maybe he'll be really quiet. Maybe he won't shout out. And maybe there won't be any tears. But he has been fantastic this year. I mean, in Brazil last night, a pole to victory. He's just been brilliant.
Consistency is key in this series, and he has been the most consistent man over this whole entire season. He has finished in Q3 every qualifying, 4 wins this year, which is higher than everybody else. And, you know, when he has his bad day, he's finishing 6th or 7th, which is not a bad day at all.
Yeah, 2 wins last season, and that's been a difference because last season he finished 3rd in the Drivers' Championship. This year, what's been different about him? Is it just down to that consistency?
Yeah, I think definitely. I think it kind of tailed away at the end of last season, but here he's really been able to step it up. And it looked like it was going the same way. The results maybe weren't there like they were at the beginning of the season, but when the pressure was on, he came to it and was absolutely sensational last night.
Yeah, if anything, he had a blip in event 3 and then has just found that form and that pace that he has needed. And he's been pushed all the way by Barry Borman, his teammate. What about Freddie Rasmussen? He's also been there as well, hasn't he? There or thereabouts.
Another driver who's always so consistent. He's been in this series since pretty much the very beginning, and he's always up there fighting for podiums, for race wins. And for him, the difference, I think, is that he didn't get enough race wins compared to Lucas Blakely.
All right, we'll talk more about Freddie in just a second because Ariana Bravo is down at McLaren. And I tell you what, the vibe, the energy, you must be witnessing something very special there.
Yeah, I absolutely am. First of all, I would just like to point out the Christmas tree over my shoulder, Tom. So more Christmas decorations that I'm bringing into the show from McLaren. But yeah, the atmosphere here has been incredible for the couple of days that we've been here. Obviously, They won at the Constructors' Championship. They've already sealed that. Here is the precious trophy that I'm trying not to knock over with my arm, trying not to talk with too much emotion here. But now it comes down to the drivers, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much. Just to let everybody in on this, earlier on in the quali show, I did set you a task. Could you please find a Christmas tree? It was beautiful to see on your Instagram. But, I mean, the energy's there. But, I mean, what's the situation been like with Barry Boromund and Lucas Blakely, both at one point fighting for the title?
Yeah, I mean, I think that put the team in a really difficult position, obviously, when it comes to strategy. Yesterday, you don't really want to rule one of them out, even though Lucas was the leading driver. Today, I think they realised that efforts need to shift towards completely supporting Lucas. I did overhear a conversation earlier where Barry was saying, obviously he's there to support, but Lucas doesn't even need it. And that's what you guys have been saying as well. He's been so consistent this season and so fantastic, but I think there's no denying that if Barry can support Lucas in any way to seal that Drivers' Championship, of course he's going to do it, because why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you, indeed? Can I just say you've been incredibly consistent this season as well, Ariana. Bravo. I'll just give you a compliment right there. We'll catch up with you in a bit. I want to talk a little bit more about those competitors that are going to be fighting Lucas tooth and nail here. Freddie Rasmussen, we just mentioned him a second ago. He's sort of been always labelled with this, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Maybe he doesn't want the Drivers' Championship. How about those apples, Hayden?
Yeah, he doesn't want to be tied down to it, but he's always just so strong, and he always loves to play the team game. He knows that the money is in the team's championship. I don't think he has that much of an ego to have to be like, I have to be the Drivers' World Champion. He will always be happy with the teams, but...
Is anything holding him back, though? I mean, that's the question people want to know. What's the difference between him and Lucas Blakely? Is it just about converting the wins?
Yeah, I think the ruthlessness, looking back at Austria, for example, and also Belgium when he was fighting with Barry Boromund or Thomas Ronhaar, he didn't get the elbows out as much as those two did, and in the end that cost him race wins. Together that's 14 total points that would have put him a lot closer to Lucas Blakely coming into tonight.
Yeah, I mean, look, he had a pole position in Austria, in Spa and Mexico, just wasn't able to convert them. But without taking anything away from Freddie, he is a fantastic driver and got that win at Silverstone. Right, we often refer to Jarno Opmeer, the two-time world champion, still currently the world champ, as the Flying Dutchman. I want to call the new Dutchman, the new rookie on the scene, the driven Dutchman? No. Well, let's work on this. The dynamic Dutchman?
That sounds a lot better, to be fair.
The dedicated Dutchman, who still has got a chance. He still has a chance to win the Drivers' Championship. Thomas Ronhaar, he's been a bit of a revelation this year, hasn't he?
He's been absolutely brilliant coming into the series, and it was a little bit shaky at the start in the races and it kind of fell away from him, but consistency in qualifying, always up the top, and once he got over that little shaky right foot on the race starts, he has been absolutely phenomenal. But it looks like a lot of drivers have been trying to slow him down. You can see the reaction here at Brazil last night with Luke Smith getting in the way, and I can kind of understand that a little bit from the grid. Nobody wants to see a rookie come in and beat you on their first attempt. So
we can't have that.
No, exactly, you can't have that.
I mean, it happened with David Tonitza, who's at Ferrari in his debut season. He won, but we can't let Thomas. That seems to be the vibe for the other drivers, because Luke Smith, Jake Benham, they've been a park in the bus. That's really affected the potential of Thomas Ronhaar winning the title.
Well, definitely in this event. You've said it. In Japan, Jake Benham getting in the way, at Brazil last night, Luke Smith getting in the way, and it really took him out of that fight to get the race win in Japan, but then to also fight with the likes of Freddie Rasmussen and Barry Boromund last night to take points away, and it's, giving him slim chances for this title tonight.
There's the front row then. Josh Edo, what a season he is having, and not raced in all of the races. That just goes to show how competitive the grid is.
Give him a full-time seat every single race. I don't care about all their strategies. Josh Edo deserves to be in every single race. Lucas Blakely, we mentioned Q3 every single race this season and last season as well. That is 24 out of 24 events making it through to Q3 in such a closely contested field.
Yeah, and Hayden, we're talking about this, I'm calling it the wooden spoon, but it's basically the bottom team does not get a share of any of that $750,000, and it's going to come down to either Alpine or Williams, and they saved the best till last, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they finally realised that if they are in that bottom spot, it's no money going their way, and they performed so brilliantly in that qualifying session. But getting into Q3, the Williams so strong, and it looks like it could be going their way to get that P9 if all goes to plan for them.
Okay, all right. Well, a shock that Barry Borremund did not make it to Q3. Ariana was there. I imagine that was a little bit awkward because he's just been so consistent all season.
Yeah, I would say that it was disappointing. You could feel the disappointment in the room, and I think it's also just the fact that, you know, his championship fight is over, so it's just a couple of days that have sort of been a bit painful for him. And I suppose having your teammate who is still in with a shot and is looking like he probably will steal the championship, it's a bit bittersweet, I imagine.
But at the same time, it's all still to play for, and Lucas hopefully will be able to hold his nerve. Has he been all right? Did you manage to get a chat with him at any point today?
Yeah, so I caught up with him straight after qualifying. As we saw yesterday, well, yesterday was full of emotions, but even beyond those emotions, we saw that he was able to like bring himself back down, calm himself a little bit and remain focused. Spoke to him straight after qualifying. Let's see how he was feeling for the race today.
The last two qualifyings we've had, the top four's been separated by literally nothing, so it just shows, you know, the level of F1 esports. And yeah, I don't think it really changes much. I think it's, you know, at the end of the day, every race is unique, and there's going to be unique challenges of this race that we all need to come across. But naturally, I'm really happy with, you know, P4 it certainly could have been a lot worse. You know, I could have been out in Q1 or 2. So I think, you know, in the grand scheme of things, you know, to maybe I didn't get pulled today, but I think P4's, you know, still a very good result. So yeah, looking forward to it later.
So, as you heard there, I think he is feeling good for the race. I think that it's still daunting, but the team are feeling confident as well. They've been burrowed away since qualifying, working hard. Let's see how it all plays out. As you've already said, guys, he doesn't have Barry there to support him where he might want him, but he has been supreme all season by himself. So, fingers crossed for the McLaren lot.
Yeah, fingers crossed indeed. Hopefully you'll bring in those good luck vibes. And I'm loving the Christmassy vibes that you've brought by showing us that Christmas tree in the background. Right, we'll catch up with Ariana in a bit. Right, gentlemen, we are going to head to a break. When we come back, we'll get your thoughts. And I've decided it's Matt Gracious Gallagher and George Meticulous Morgan. They will be your commentators. But let's have a break, come back, and then we're going to go racing in Yas Marina.
The 5 lights go out in Monza, and we are racing for the 7th time this season. Nicolas Longuet versus the McLaren of Barry Borremund, and it's going to be tight down there. To the first chicane, the McLaren is inching ahead. The McLaren has the inside line. The McLaren has the lead. Barry Borremund, then Longuet, then Blakely, fighting with Ronhaar, who was aggressive, but he couldn't get past the championship leader. It's tight, though, in the background. Barry Borremund checking out of town. We are into matter of time territory for the top 2. And it's Borremund, then Ronhaar, then Blakely, then Longuet, then Beresnay. But at the battle out front, we're about to have a change. Thomas Ronhaar dropped down to 4th, fought his way back to the lead. Ronhaar P1, and the medium tyres go ahead of the soft. The Haas goes past the McLaren. Ronhaar back to the front. Will Ronhaar try and give him... Whoa, he's nearly on the grass. He's fighting his way by. And this time he does take the lead. Barry Borremund hits the front before that last lap. He couldn't wait. I'm not even sure Ronhaar gave him much of an option. Here we go. Onto the iconic main straight at Monza. 27 of 27, game on. 5 kilometers to go. Who's it going to be? Will it be Borremund? Will it be Ronhaar? He's trying to pull out. He's got the DRS. They're very nearly banging wheels into the first chicane. They're deep. They're off the road. It's a thrilling battle. Will he have to give the place back? He'll have to feather the throttle, and then they'll resume the action right about now as we go through Curva Grande. These brilliant pair this year who both took maiden victories. One win number 2, and Borremund is ahead. He's turned it into a scrap. He didn't wait to the last lap. He was brutal at that first. It was late into the first chicane. They're basically glued together, and all the while this is going on. If they make contact, it still might be a 1-2 for Alfa Romeo. This is right on the brink. We are now heading into a crucial DRS zone. Can Ronhaar take the lead in Ascari? It's all in the balance. He's out of the slipstream. He's pulling ahead. He's getting past the McLaren. And Thomas Ronhaar takes the lead into the Ascari chicane. He goes through onto the back straight. He's got one corner to go to take the victory. The Parabolica, the curve of Michele Alboreto stands in front of him. Borman chucked everything he could. All of his plans, they were well laid, but they weren't good enough to see off Thomas Ronhaar, who puts that stat in the bin about never having a winner from anywhere other than the top 2 on the grid, because Thomas Ronhaar has won his 2nd race in the F1 Esports Pro Championship in a thrilling last lap duel with Barry Borman. Ronhaar playing it to perfection.
Welcome back to the F1 Esports Series Pro Championship 2022. You may have a heart made of stone and you do not feel anything, because I tell you what, I am definitely feeling the tension. So is Hayden Gullis with me. We're just moments away from getting the race underway at Yas Marina. The real world F1, lots of titles have been decided there, mentioning no particular races in particular. However, the title is going to be decided right here as well. Hayden, what do you reckon Lucas needs to do? He's in P4 to start. What does he need to do to get this title?
First of all, get through the first corner. It's going to be so easy to get a little bit of front wing damage and it could all fall away. He needs to make sure he secures a 7th place finish, and that is the title wrapped up. So he can afford to lose a few positions here and there as long as he keeps the car clean. OK, now you love a little bit of Yas Marina, because I know that you've been, was it go-karting around there at some point? Yeah, a bit of go-karting, a bit of driving on the track as well.
OK, yeah, I was unable to join you on that one. But listen, I'm not holding on to it and sharing it with the whole world. Listen, what do you love about this track?
It's such a joy. They redeveloped it for last season, and we're going to get to drive that around that today. We actually haven't driven the Yas Marina circuit since 2018 in the F1 Esports Pro Series.
And who won that day? Freddie Rasmussen?
Was it? I thought was it?
Oh, okay.
I don't know. You tell me.
We've just made it very awkward between each other. Freddie Rasmussen, I believe, won it. But the thing is, in this situation, if he wins again, he's going to put Lucas Blakely under some pressure. Yeah,
for him and Ronhaar, they both need to win this race. If they don't, then the title's pretty much gone. But for Lucas Blakely, they've still got to watch out for where he finishes.
Yeah, I've gone as well. Well, I thought I just passed it to Hayden. Hayden was like, yeah, we'll both look at him like, come on, it's Freddie Rasmussen. Anyway, listen, we will break down 2018 season so we make no more mistakes. But listen, we need to get to the Yas Marina. Before I throw to George Morgan and Matt Gallagher, let's get more pumped for this race.
The finale, the title decider, under the lights here in Abu Dhabi. Hamilton gets a decent start and he's already ahead of Verstappen. Almost coming together. Hamilton has to go off the track.
That is incredible.
You are the world champion.
What an amazing drive, champ.
The championship can only be won by one, and it's going Dutch.
I love you so much.
The championship title is going to be decided today, George Morgan, and Lucas Blakely very much in the pound seats as we head to the Yas Marina circuit. But it's not done. It's not done by any stretch. Yes, in real-life Formula One, you might think, securing an 8th place, easy. But this is equal cars. A lot of very talented drivers. Qualifying shows that. How close were they today?
God, minuscule. I think I counted it. I think the top 4 within, I would say, a quarter of a tenth. Sensational, folks.
Outrageous.
Unprecedented, Matt Gallagher.
Absolutely outrageous. I cannot wait to see how this season is going to end. We're going to leave nothing to spare in this commentary box, George Morgan, and the drivers, they will send it pretty hard as well. There's Lucas Blakely. All he needs is a 7th or above, and it's in his hands, right? You don't have to worry about any fastest laps or anything. If he just finishes in the top 7, done and dusted. Thank you very much. I'll be taking that trophy home.
Yeah, but what about his teammate? There is Freddie Rasmussen, though, for Red Bull Racing, also in contention for the title. What could be going through that man's mind? He has been in this position on so many occasions, so we'll have to see whether he can pull out something here. Of course, Ronhaar will as well, and he has been a sensational winner this season, a sensation as a rookie as well, Matthew.
Ridiculous tenacity from Ronhaar, but it's Josh Edu who starts on pole position. He's going to want to get his maiden victory, is he not?
Oh, he certainly is. The Welshman has come in here and really ripped up the rule book in accordance to what we've seen this season. Absolutely unbelievable. And there he is. We saw the jubilation on his face when he came across the line and, well, basically took that pole position from absolutely nowhere. And we've got live pictures there as well of Lucas Blakely, who is getting himself composed. And we can see now all 5 lights lit. And for the final time, it's pedal to the metal. And it is go, 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 go. Josh Eno makes his way through. But on the inside, it comes Thomas Ronhaar as they venture through turn 1. Eno has had to go off track. Ronhaar allows him to continue through with Freddie Rasmussen in 3rd as well. Lucas Blakely holds on to 4th, is battling further down as well. But in comes Ronhaar into turn 5. Outside line now, here at the very start on lap 1. They remain side by side, toe to toe, wheel to wheel, but it's Ronhaar. He takes the lead here at Abu Dhabi.
Brilliant start from Ronhaar, using the medium tyres to his advantage. It looks as though Edo is on the hard tyre as he tries to come back at him round the outside, but Ronhaar going for the faster strategy on the medium tyres. He just wants to drive away.
He does. He has got the advantage. He's got the lead of the race. This is what he needs, at least, to even be in contention of winning this championship. Obviously, Lucas Blakely, he just needs to finish in the top 8, top 7 to be certain, as now the cars venture through this next left-hander. This used to be a very technical part of the track. There used to be a chicane prior to these bends, but now that's removed. It's a flowing circuit, lots of attacking here around these apexes. The circuit of Yas Marina, dazzling under the lights, and it's a great location for this grand final.
Crucial for Ronhaar now to get on with it. Try and break that DRS, use those quicker medium tyres to his advantage at the start of this race. He's going to be much quicker, and you wouldn't want anyone else behind the wheel than Thomas Ronhaar. His race pace has been electric all season, and just look at that gap. It's already at a second. He's going to try and take this victory.
He's broken DRS on Josh Eno. Eno, who was your pole sitter, he lost it on the previous lap, heading through turn 5. The outside line working so well for Ronhaar. Of course, Eno did not go without a fight, mind. He was side-by-side exiting the corner. You see there Luke Smith getting very close in behind Daniel Eddad as well. Alpine qualifying extremely well. Their best qualifying performance in Event 4. And they'll certainly look to try and gamble on it. Maybe try and at least achieve something. Maybe even put themselves in podium contention. Another team that have done exactly the same are Williams as well. We can see further back Marcel Kiefer and Jake Benham going at it as well. They've been going at it pretty much since the start of this race. Barry Burman insteadly also up into 11th place. Remember, he started P12.
Very interesting. It looks as though Ronhaar might well be one of the only drivers on the medium tyres here. So the hard tyre very much seen as the preferential tyre to start on. We've got a replay of Ronhaar and, of course, the action that went down on the first lap. So let's take a look and see. Of course, live pictures on your right, and this is on board Blakely. He's hoping, goodness me, I hope all 3 of these come together. But Ronhaar just about managing to hold on from Edo, who managed to get a good run from the previous corner. And Blakely just settling down into this race. P4, Ronhaar, of course, fastest lap of the race. Absolutely flying away at the moment, trying to do what Longuet did at Suzuka. It may not be the quickest race time strategy with no other cars around, but Ronhaar's hoping that maybe a little bit of chaos goes on behind him.
Yeah, well, I think that's what he's going to need at this stage. I mean, obviously, Barry Burman, let's not forget, they might go long on his strategy just to help out Lucas Blakely. We'll have to wait and see. Of course, Blakely doesn't really have to worry too much. He's still within DRS on Freddie Rasmussen. They're utilising the train right now. Josh Eno very much being the cork in the bottle at this stage. 1.8 seconds now between that of Ronhaar's. Rasmussen now goes into P2. A move that was necessary. You do have to wonder, because they're all part of that Red Bull family. Eno doing the service for Freddie Rasmussen.
He's never going to move to try and defend that position when he's practically sat about 10 foot away from him. They know that they have to just try and utilise this hard tyre at this stage of the race. Freddie Rasmussen leads the hard tyre runners in P2. Ronhaar 1.7 seconds further down the road. Lucas Blakely, let's have a look at him right there. Bottom left of your screen. What is he thinking right now? He's never won an F1 Esports driver's title. He's come close before, but he's never been in this position. Does it start to just eke away a little bit at your mentality and whatnot? We've not seen really any chinks in the armour. It's very much been consistent mentality from Lucas Blakely, and maintaining P4 is going to just settle some of those nerves.
Yeah, I think so, and I think that's his game plan. He doesn't need to do anything drastic. I think this is a very similar drive to what we saw in Brazil. He had to be mentally strong for that particular race. He needs to have that same intensity again. Obviously, just keep your cool, keep your composure, focus on the apexes, try and maintain the gaps between Caraton and Ido as well. Stay in the train, keep yourself up in the top end. Obviously, doesn't want to lose any places. Looking pretty smart right now. He's half the places above the cut-off point for him to win the championship. John Evans setting the fastest lap of the race. Of course, I'm sure that Freddie Rasmussen would like to have that point as well. Obviously, anything just to help him in the championship fight. But nevertheless, Ronhaar is alive and kicking. 3 laps already amassed on the tyres. Those mediums sending Ronhaar to the top. And he's nearly broken into 2 seconds.
I wonder what Ronhaar will be thinking if he does end up winning this race. Like, what could have been from Brazil and Suzuka, and you know, how would it have worked out had they had he got through on those cars a little bit quicker? Benham and Smith, of course, on their strategies, trying to help their own teams. But instead, Ron has to work on what he's got in front of him. He has to win this race and hope for something to kick off behind him with Blakely. I guess the one saving grace for Ron Haar's, I guess, confidence going into this is that, look, they're all in the DRS train, all the way down to 19th, which means Blakely, if he's not, you know, completely alive to the strategy, working with his team, making sure there's no undercuts happening behind, he could lose a few positions very easily in this race. They have to stay alert.
Yeah, they do. They do. And you've got to wonder, does Stachilek stay out? Does Kiefer stay out at this point? We'll have to wait and see. I mean, obviously, anything to slow Ron Haar down, that's obviously going to be on their game plan. And obviously not forgetting Lucas Blakely, who's in behind too. But Blakely has got far more in the offing for him to win this championship. He's got lots in his favour. Currently, the Live Drivers' Championship speaks volumes. 181 points going to Blakely. Should it remain like this with Ron Haar jumping up into second, should he hold on to the lead and take victory in this race with Rasmussen once again in the top 3 positions? It hasn't been an easy story in F1 Esports for Freddie Rasmussen, but Barry Burman now looking to try and tackle Jarno Opmeer. Of course, a 2-time F1 Esports champion, Jarno Opmeer. He knows how to win titles. He's done it so many times before, equal with Brendan Lee on most championships won. Unfortunately, it's not going to be the magic 3 this time for Jarno Opmeer. We're going to be crowning a brand new champion.
We certainly are, and for Barry Burman, Jarno Opmeer is not an easy customer to get past. That is for sure, and it is for 1 World Championship point at this moment. Of course, it doesn't really matter for the team's championship. Barry, I'm sure, is just going to go very long on this hard tyre stint, just to make sure he's there for his teammate if needed. Whatever that might look like, we don't know. Of course, Thomas Ronhaar is going to come into the pits earlier than everyone else. I wonder how much defence some of these drivers will put on. What about Marcel Kiefer in 14th, Freddie Rasmussen's teammates? Rasmussen needs to win this race, of course. So I can't imagine Marcel Kiefer will, he'll try and help him as much as possible. I am very sure about that. So that'll be an interesting storyline to keep an eye on when the pit stops start coming in thick and fast. But as we look here, live on board with Barry Burman, not using any energy at the moment, 84% on that steering wheel, as you can see. And this has very much been a trend of the season. They're just trying to keep that battery life at a very decent level so that they can go on the attack a little bit later on. We saw with Freddie Rasmussen, he was able to defend just purely because he had a bit more in the tank over the course of the season in different scenarios, and that's exactly what you need in those final few laps.
Yeah, we've seen so many variables this season, especially with energy use. I mean, obviously, if you use too much, you're stricken, you're stranded. There is nowhere for you to go. You cannot defend against anything because, of course, all these little things provide you the pace in the car in order to grab yourself the best position possible. And naturally, these drivers have got to think all about that, not to mention the strategy element, but also trying to hit every apex and every position on the circuit that you need in order to cultivate a good result. Josh Ido, who you can see at the bottom left-hand corner, still looking composed and knows that he's still very much in this fight. Obviously, no qualms as to why he moved across. Obviously, Freddie Rasmussen is part of the Red Bull family. As to that of the AlphaTauris too. So now head through the first sector, though Ido can be, I'd imagine, delighted with that qualifying performance.
So now I'm wondering, what does McLaren Shadow and Lucas Blakely do when we get to the pit stops? Do they go for an early stop to make sure that they keep track position? That would probably seem like the safest option, because if they just leave it a couple of laps too long, try and keep a bit of a fresher medium set for the end, yeah, they'll be looking good, but then you're putting the pressure on Blakely to maybe make a couple of moves. Of course, 4th place is more than enough for him at the moment. but you can see the intervals behind. It is so unbelievably close. Just look at the train, look at that camera angle. They're all there, George. They're all ready to pounce.
They're all in tandem. DRS opened up. There's chances for every single driver on this track. They're all in a train as they now venture around on lap 7 of 29. Not even at the halfway point yet, folks. It's going to be certainly kicking off very, very soon when the strategy starts to unfurl. Ron Haar and Rasmussen, as far as they're concerned, they're in the right place. Obviously, Rasmussen would prefer to be on top, but Blakely in the all-important 4th place, obviously 4 places above where he needs to be in order to win this championship. So still looking in very, very healthy form right now. Blakely chasing after Josh Ido, and that gap has literally cemented itself at that half a second deficit. He is literally just tracking Ido, just utilising that DRS, that ERS as well where necessary, and at the same time benefiting off the slipstream.
There's Rasmussen, who is leading this DRS train. You'd think maybe he's expended a bit more energy because he's got no DRS to use in front of him. He's got no slipstream really either, with Ron Haar 2.7 seconds down the road, but he's still got a healthy amount of battery. Freddie Rasmussen's a veteran. He knows what he's doing. He doesn't want to be dragging this DRS train along to help everyone behind him and not himself. This is very much a patient waiting game right now, and if you are a fan of this F1 Esports series, you know it can be a little bit calm, but then it can kick off if you have a Luke Smith on intermediates that fancies staying out there for a bit longer. I'm sure there's going to be a few games that we have to keep an eye on as we now take a look at Jarno Opmeer, who looks a bit more aggressive now towards Luke Smith ahead rather than Barry Burman behind. Yeah,
he's definitely looking more settled. Barry Burman was peppering the rear of that Silver Arrows. The Mercedes obviously currently sat in that P10, so there will be points making their way to Jarno Opmeer should it remain like this, but obviously would prefer to march himself up the order. A race is a race, points are points, and they certainly do mean prizes. Obviously, we've still got the tantalisingly close Teams Championship being fought out further down because there's prize money to be offered for wherever you finish in this championship fight.
Apart from last.
Apart from last, of course. Yes, absolutely right back, Gallagher. And of course, none of these teams want to be there. So we'll have to wait and see who comes out on top. Obviously, there's still a lot of battling going on in that P2 spot, isn't there?
Yeah, as well, and we have to keep an eye on this because right now Williams and Alpine are scoring a decent amount of points, and I don't think they were that far behind 8th place either, so we could see a big shuffle up there, and we'll keep an eye on that in terms of how it will all end up because there is some money to be made for 8th and 9th, and here is Joni Tormula just ahead of Daniele Haddad in the Williams. Here's the AlphaTauri, and Joni Tormula, a much better performance, has to be said. You know, He's had his moments, of course, swapping in and out with his 2 teammates over the course of the season, but very much more where we're used to seeing him from years gone by. A bit of a missed opportunity as well in qualifying because he invalidated his last lap, which would have got him P5 on the grid. Instead, he started P9, he's made up a couple of positions, and it's a healthy position to be in as we head towards the strategy window and the pit stops.
Yeah, AlphaTauri pretty much solidifying their position as best of the rest, certainly at this stage. They're currently in the mid-top 10. They're currently sitting in P5, I believe, in the Teams Championship as things stand, with quite a healthy points gap to the teams above as well. But as the cars now work their way through the final sector, they will be commencing yet another lap. Ron Haar already crossing the line to commence lap 10 of 29. We've got 19 laps still to go. We've still got the pit stops to unleash too. Obviously the pit stops on track. I believe John Evans might have already boxed, but he will of course be trying to recover the time that he has lost now. Obviously 25-second deficit, but that'll be worked right back in. Obviously he's just trying to roll the dice. I'd imagine there'll be a few other drivers looking to roll the dice as well as we work our way through this race. This man will as well. Barry Burman currently outside the top 10. And of course, him and Jarno Opmeer have had their own fair share of battles. I mean, I hark back to USA when they went at it. Barry was leading, but an unsuspecting Thomas Ron Haar, Jarno Opmeer throw him in, and not to mention Brendan Lee. Of course, that was my choice as moment of the year. And it certainly was a special moment, Matt Gallagher.
Oh, it certainly was. The most chaotic ending to an F1 Esports race I've ever seen. And I'm hoping for some more chaos today as well. Fingers crossed around this Yas Marina circuit. There's the 2 Ferraris. Brendan Lee, of course, one of them involved in that. And at one point, you're wondering, is Brendan Lee going to win at COTA with all of the argy-bargy that was going on? He did secure a podium, I believe, but Brendan Lee in an unfamiliar 12th place. David Tanitsa in 13th, both champions. This is the crazy thing. You just have a little bit of a bad qualifying, and you just can't make your way through this DRS train. you've got, what, Barry Burman, Jarno Watmir, Barry Burman, Brendan Lee, David Tennitz and Marcel Kiefer, all of which you would expect to be in the top 3 a lot of the time. As we now have our first pit stop, the first proper pit stop, of course, John Evans came in very, very early. Thomas Ronhaar into the pits, fresh set of hard tyres. This first lap, got to get the tyre temperature in.
Absolutely vital indeed. This opening lap is going to be key. He needs to try, obviously, and get the undercut working for him. And lap 11 of 29, now or never, Thomas Ronhaar, if he wants to try and solidify that position up at the top end. Now for a killer lap. Did look like he cut across the white line a little bit there.
I think they are allowed to, as long as there's no one coming behind, then they're allowed to cut that pit exit line. So Ronhaar should be okay with that one. Yeah, he's clearly pushing, trying to take the apex of everything. He's 7.4 seconds behind the big DRS train. I don't think he'll catch that too quickly, and you'd imagine the pit stops start coming in thick and fast not too much longer after Ronhaar's pit stop. And then we wait and see how they all filter out.
Yeah, no doubt now Ronhaar has broken the seal. I'd imagine there'll be plenty of drivers responding to that move from Thomas Ronhaar very, very soon. We'll have to keep our eyes peeled, folks. John Evans still hasn't capitalised on that pit stop from Thomas Ronhaar, still remains 16.4 seconds away from that Haas driver. Obviously, he will gain a little bit more with the tyres being up to temperature his end as opposed to Ronhaar's. It's now Otmir heads through the final corner himself now, still chasing after Luke Smith. And I can imagine this season might have been more a learning curve for Jarno Watmir. Of course, he has won championships, but this is the first time that he has tasted more or less a significant defeat in terms of a championship, which I'm sure will only galvanise him for seasons long. And he's going to need to respond next season as well, because we've seen what's happened to the likes of Tennitz and Brendan Lee. I don't think he wants to be another statistic.
It's a difficult phase for his career, I'm sure. You know, to win back-to-back titles, you're on top of the world, and then you come into a new game, F1 22, and it's not worked out the way he probably envisaged it would. He said that they've been lacking a couple of tenths. He's saying he's not really enjoyed the handling of the car, and sometimes that just happens. But crucially, as you say, you don't want to become, unfortunately, no disrespect to Brendan Lee, David Tennitz, you know, that they are world champions, but we haven't seen them at the front for a little while now.
No.
Brendan Lee's not won for years. So Jarno Watmir is going to have to go back to the drawing board, as Barry Burman got very close indeed there for P9. But look, it hasn't been a devastatingly bad season for Jarno Watmir. He's still got a few wins under the belt. He's shown potential and prowess. He just needs to go back to the drawing board a little bit, figure out what went wrong, learn the new game as quickly as he can, and then just mount a charge from there.
Yeah, I think we've seen shades of the old Brendan Lee as well this season. We've seen certainly some very promising results. I mean, the fight back at Suzuka was inspired, coming out to the bottom 5, and then all of a sudden finishing in the top 10 will certainly please the Ferrari hopefuls, that's for sure. And without a doubt, I'm sure he'll be back once again to try and challenge for yet another championship. Of course, anything can happen. As I always say, I know we keep saying the phrase, but expect the unexpected indeed, Mac.
Are you getting that tattooed, or on a t-shirt, the merchandise released, or the Oracle?
I have to get it before Tom Deacon steals it, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah, Brendan Lee, we're riding on board with him right now. He's got a lot of energy in the battery, as well, as you can see. And we wait to see which driver, which team are going to blink first from the hard tyres and put on a bit of an undercut strategy. Of course, Blakely's going to have to be looking in his mirrors for the likes of Caraton, Shipos, Tormula. Will they come into the pits anytime soon to try and get a little bit further up this pack? Because we've seen, I would probably put being a little bit further up, using the undercut as probably the preferential strategy. You know, having track position has worked beautifully for Freddie Rasmussen at Imola as one great example there. So I would be surprised if we don't see a few very extreme undercuts.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. I mean, I'm looking at Ronhaar right now. He's only 5 seconds away from Tomasz Paradzic. Obviously, at this stage, he's in 18th, 5.1 seconds. And once all the stops come in, because remember, they're all going to be boxing off the hards onto the mediums. Ronhaar is making some serious inroads into that deficit.
Shipos
and see them all come in. Yes, in now.
Not ideal for Blakely, I'm not going to lie. They're very close to Blakely in this train, and 2 of them have come into the pits. Barry Burman as well, not so close, of course, and also the teammate of Blakely. But those 2 could cause some problems.
Yeah, they can. Absolutely right. Ronhaar now has jumped them immediately. He's up into 16th. In comes Barry Burman. So there's obviously not going to be any help at this stage. They're not going long with Burman. He's going to be coming into the pits, changing on. He's just leaving it now on the medium tyres. and he'll be back out on track as well. Now, Blakely, I am sure without a doubt, is going to be looking to get moving now ASAP, coming into the pit lane to make his change. We'll have to wait and see if that's exactly what he does. Freddie Rasmussen, though, in the meantime, obviously with Ron Ha Boxing, has got the lead of the race, with Josh Ido in second place. Blakely just running his own race right now, sticking in behind that of the AlphaTauri, with Alvaro Caraton in behind, with Daniel Haddad in 5th, Williams in Wonderland, 4th and 5th place.
They really are. Of course, we've had a couple of drivers in the pits as well. We'll see how that all unfolds over the next couple of laps. Here is our championship leader. No risks. That's what he'll be saying in his head. Don't go for the move, even if it's on. Lucas Blakely, this is more than enough with 15 laps to go. Do McLaren Shadow bring him into the pits? I would say so, but I'm not a pit engineer. Let's have a look and see. No, stays out. Okay. Freddie Rasmussen into the pits. Blakely continues on. Do we see any drivers coming from behind? We do. Luke Smith comes in as well. Brendan Lee comes in. This is a strategy which either is confidence, right, Blakely, we believe you can do what you can do with fresher mediums, but it's going to put track position in a bit of a question mark right now.
It's a mystery at this stage, and we're not going to know whose strategy is going to be better. I mean, I'm just keeping an eye on Ron Ha. He's leapt ahead of Freddie Rasmussen already and has cleared him. So Ron Ha's strategy has worked a plum for him. He is clear in 13th place. Freddie Rasmussen in 14th. The gap now, 6 seconds, Matt.
And look at Shipos, only a second behind Freddie Rasmussen now, so that's going to be a position gained for Shipos over Blakely. Tormola's not too far behind either, so you have to keep an eye on that. Lucas Blakely carrying on behind Josh Ido at the moment. Ron Ha 5.7 seconds clear of Freddie Rasmussen at the moment, and we now take a look back to the championship leader. He'll be saying, Ido, get on with it. Come on, let's go. We need to come into the pits now.
Well, this is it. Does Blakely have to make a move on Ido? Because I'm sure that's in the back of Lucas's mind. Is he doing Rasmussen the favours at this point? Is he trying to hold up that McLaren in order to bring Rasmussen into the fight? This is a crucial moment. Lap 15 of 29. We've just passed the halfway point, and Blakely, this could be now or never. It could mean everything at this point. If Ido puts the steps in place and Blakely responding, he comes into the pit lane with Josh Ido.
Here we go then, Blakely into the pits a couple of laps later than some of the undercutting runners. We'll have to watch and see where this all unfolds. Barry Burramand is ahead of Yoni Tormola and Luke Smith. So Barry's made up a couple of positions, I believe, as we see Blakely exit the pits now. Patrick Shipos sets the fastest lap of the race and is within DRS of Freddie Rasmussen. So let's see where Lucas Blakely and Josh Ido come out in the field. They're already behind Rasmussen, Shipos, Ido. Is Smith going to get a position as well? Yes, so Lucas Blakely only just ahead of Barry Burham and his teammate.
Yeah, he's in 5th place, and obviously it's not the end of the world. It's still championship winning position, net P5. Shall I say, obviously not P5 on track, P14 as things stand. Ron Ha now clearing Paradis for that 9th place as well. And he's coming up to his teammate, Płato Stachelek, who I'm sure without a doubt will let him go by at this point. The question is now, if you're Stachelek, do you just sit tight? Do you go long after you let Ron Ha through?
That's a question that they're not going to be asking me, George Morgan. We've actually got some team radio that we can listen to from Marcel Kiefer. Let's see what they're up to.
Would be worth starting to execute the plan now, Marcel.
Dun, dun, dun.
Execute the plan. Oh, that sounds like that sounds like plan chaos to me. So let's see. Let's see what the plan is for Marcel Kiefer. Still hasn't pitted. Alvaro Caraton is coming into the pits. Blakely, as you say, sort of net fifth place at the moment. He's fortunately for him got Barry Burramand, his teammate, behind him to defend for his life for the likes of Smith and Haddad behind. But interesting. What is Marcel Kiefer's plan?
Well, I like a good prediction, Matt, and I have to tell you...
Do you think it's slow Ron Ha down?
I do think so, do you know? Yes, at this point, lap 17 of 29, and Marcel Kiefer staying out on track, hasn't boxed yet, neither of a few though, and Jake Benham is actually overtaking him as well. So do you have to wonder whether Kiefer is looking to try and slow the cars down, slow down the traffic, as we now have a look on screen at Freddie Rasmussen, making his way down through towards the next left. Paradis in 9th as well, just ahead of him. Obviously, the gap between those two is currently sat at 2.5, and there's Kiefer now. Look at this. slow-moving Marcel Kiefer now, as we look at some side-by-side action with Simon Weigang and Nicolas Longuet as well. They're going in tandem as they head around this next left. The Aston Martin and the Alfa Romeo coming together. The Alfa on top, of course, Event 4 winner Nicolas Longuet, who returned to winning form this season, has now gone ahead of Simon Weigang. But Marcel Kiefer, alarm bells ringing here, Matt Gallagher. That car is looking awfully slow.
It's going very slow, and that's a very strange time to have said execute the plan. So I wonder what that plan might be. Marcel Kiefer, is he coming into the pits? Absolutely not. And look who's right behind. Thomas Ronhart, and then his teammate Staukalek as well. So what has Marcel Kiefer got in the locker here for his plan? 6 tenths, 5 tenths, 4 tenths. So Ronhart is right behind Kiefer now. And let's look at this right here. This is the plan. Marcel Kiefer has left the session, actually. So that is not the plan that I expect he wanted, as he is ghosted. And the plan, whatever it was not leave the session.
The plan has been undone. Ronhart now sits in 5th and has now overtaken Marcel Kiefer, who's unfortunately not holding possession of his car right now. Stachulek in behind in 7th as well. Ronhart has now got himself up into 5th place. The plan not working, full Red Bull as it seems to us on our screens, with Rasmussen now up into 8th ahead of Paradis.
I'm very interested to see what Ronhart's teammate might get up to as well. George Morgan, he's currently 6th, just ahead of the ghosting Marcel Kiefer, who has no control of his car at the moment. But I imagine that Haas might be playing a few games in the next couple of laps.
Yeah, I think so. I get the feeling there are some very similar activity happening down at Haas. Obviously, Stachulek being asked to do the team job here. And we're now seeing on our screens Kiefer dropping down. Further down, we're having a look at a replay, and this is Kiefer's face cam. Shock and horror on the face of Marcel Kiefer. And this is what can happen. He's trying to wait for some attention, I think, from his engineering team. Bizarre moment. No response from the wheel. Head in the hands. It just has not gone well this season for Marcel Kiefer, Matt.
So we'll never know what that plan was, unfortunately.
No.
That is maybe a shame in terms of what could have unfolded for this. However, it is not over yet. So we've got Ronhart, 2.6 seconds ahead of Freddie Rasmussen. Then we've got his teammate, Staukalek, in P6, just ahead of Shipos. I can't imagine he'll make it too difficult for those drivers. But look, only a couple behind that is Lucas Blakely, the McLaren Shadow car, the championship leader. Ronhart is on his way, potentially, to a victory. It is now in the hands of Staukalek to make it as difficult as possible for Lucas Blakely.
Yeah, and Barry Burman coming together with Tomek Paradis as well. Alvaro Caraton goes through too. I tell you what, it's a bit of a jumble happening here at that midpoint. And we've got 10 laps to go, and Patrick Shipos now in 6th. Also has Josh Ido in behind as well, who came into this one on the front row.
I think this is timed. Look at where the Haas has been caught by Lucas Blakely. Let's just see how slow that Haas driver goes through this sector of the track. And I'm guaranteeing you right now, George, he's going pretty slowly.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely spot on. We did allude to this at the start of the race, that Stachulek could become the centrepiece of the Haas master plan. And now Lucas Blakely, who knows what's on the line, does not want to see his title forfeited at the hands of Poitou Stachulek, comes into turn 1. He remains behind the Haas, but everything now has to be, well, spurring in Lucas's mind as he tries to look for every which way possible to overtake Poitou Stachulek. They head down through towards turn 5. Surely the McLaren, is he going to send it? Not quite. He knows, even if he stays in 7th, but he's going for it immediately. Blakely has managed to run alongside him now. They run side by side, weaving down the straight. Blakely on top. He's ahead of Poitou Stachulek.
Stachulek doesn't have DRS either. Blakely can just drive away as Smith now has a look up the inside. That is what the Haas driver can do. A bit of problems for Blakely. He's lost DRS to Shipos ahead. But fortunately, as we say, Blakely has his teammate Burman in a very good position to protect his teammate. That was very calm, very composed from Blakely. He thought about it, round that last corner especially. He wanted to try and sneak a nose in, and it was very much closed door. Blakely then just took a deep breath and said, this is not worth it. The only thing this could cause is a championship going down the toilet. Barry Burman now up the inside of the Haas and gets up to P8.
Beautiful move from Barry Burman, slipped it. I tell you what, the switchback was sensational. Now Alvaro Caraton goes through past Stachulek. And we also have some team radio from Lucas Blakely.
No, good job, Barry. Let's do this.
Let's do this. And I think Lucas has now sort of negotiated the problem, which was Peter Staukalek in this particular scenario. Unfortunately for Blakely, the position he doesn't want to go any further down on, Barry Burman is currently looking after that one. So Blakely very much in the pound seats here. Freddie Rasmussen is passing Simon Weigang. What's Weigang up to? I'd love to know, by the way. He's in the Aston Martin and he hasn't pit yet. 21 laps in. Is he going to be another curveball for this race?
I think he's counting on the recovery of John Evans, I think, at this stage. I'm not sure. But no, sitting in third place. Interesting that he hasn't yet come into the pits, but Rasmussen certainly moved his way past, with Ido now making his way through. This is your live view of the Drivers' Championship, folks. Blakely, as it stands, will be crowned champion. 177 points to his name, with Ron Haar in second, ahead of Freddie Rasmussen, and literally only separated by a mere 5 points. Despite Ron Haar taking a victory here, should it stay like this beyond lap 29, it will be Blakely who will crown a new champion.
Can we have one more race? I mean, that's pretty tantalising, doesn't it?
It does. A bonus race, perhaps.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's been a brilliant championship season, and right now Lucas Blakely absolutely in the spot he needs. He's got Luke Smith behind, which he's going to have to be a little bit wary of. Here's Simon Weigang. What's Weigang up to? Is Blakely going to get past him pretty easily? Yes, he does. Into turn one, and Blakely now up to P5, which gives him even more of a cushion in the championship. Here's Luke Smith, going to make it a little bit difficult. Is the Aston Martin of Weigang for Smith to get through. But is the inside line shown to Smith? It absolutely is. And up to P6 goes Luke Smith. A very solid drive, it has to be said, after the, I'm going to say, controversy from the last race and staying out on the intermediates and causing all kinds of problems for a lot of people. It's been a very strong drive from Luke Smith in P6.
It's been a strong drive from Alpine as a team. Patrick Sheepas also in fourth place too, so big points going the way of Alpine should it stay like this. And obviously we spoke about that bottom end fight in the team's championship. If it stays like this, then Alpine could stir up something here in this championship, as we're now watching Freddie Rasmussen here in second. Obviously Thomas Ron Haar now with the advantage has held the lead after making that early stop, but one has to wonder what that tyre degradation is going to be like as well, because of course he was the first one to box out of those in amongst that scheduled stop. But there we can see Luke Smith getting closer and closer behind Lucas Blakely as well. Would he choose to perhaps unlock the door on him? Bear in mind, you got Barry Burman in 7th too, with Alvaro Caraton in 8th. Weigang, who is still the only car not out, or certainly not in the pit lane, is dropping down the field at this moment in time. I can only imagine he's bound to come in at some point. It has to be now. No, he's staying out again.
I don't know what he's doing. I have absolutely no idea. I cannot give you an insight as to why Weigang has not pitted, but maybe he's just having fun. But either or, there's a car off the track there. That's Marcel Kiefer getting out of the way, and that pretty much sums up his season, I think. That is a really sad thing to see Marcel Kiefer just not be in the mix this season. He'll have to reset and go again. But here is Thomas Ron Haar. He's getting caught by Freddie Rasmussen, who's within DRS now. So that preferential strategy of starting on the hards is now coming to Rasmussen's favour here. And it very much looks like this Red Bull wants to get past the Haas. Remember these two, they've come together. Rasmussen wasn't happy after Austria when Ron Haar just showed him the curb on the exit. And look, Rasmussen might well not play it very very easily here either. He's having a little look, but remember, Freddie's very, very calm, composed most of the time. We're not going to bring up Mexico just yet. He usually waits till the last lap. Is he going to wait now, or is he going to try and use those fresher tyres right now that he's got, faster tyres at least that he's got now to get past?
Well, you'd expect him to use them. I mean, I think on paper, obviously Ron Haar we saw earlier on boxing before anyone else in terms of the scheduled stops.
Cheapos penalty.
And yeah, that's
crucial for Blakely.
And yeah, that's huge for Blakely, because that will move him up into 4th place. So effectively where Lucas Blakely started, that's where he's going to end up at this point. So lap 24 of 29, we're coming down to the final 5, and Ron Haar, who currently leads the way, he's going to be in sheer jeopardy here now, with Freddie Rasmussen currently coveting the rear wing of that Haas car now. Weigang has finally come into the pits as well as they now make their way down through towards turn 5. And now Ron Haar, who is now just making his way through, will obviously want to take at least a race win from Abu Dhabi on this occasion, just to add to the collection that he's already managed to achieve this season, not forgetting his performances at Austria, not to mention Italy as well. But Rasmussen does not worry about such things, moves down the inside the Great Dane, takes the lead here in Abu Dhabi. A huge yes from Freddie Rasmussen here at the Marina.
So Freddie Rasmussen goes to the top of the lead, the grid right now. P1 for Freddie Rasmussen. Thomas Ronhart. I think he's happy for Freddie Rasmussen to go through at this stage. You can just sit behind the Red Bull, charge some battery. You can see on the steering wheel. Only 20% ERS for Thomas Ronhart. He's been pushing on those hard tyres. He just has to stay within a second now. Recharge that battery, but hope for those hard tyres to come back into play come the end of the race. Those mediums clearly a little bit quicker than what is on the car of this Haas driver. 5 laps to go. Ronhart still has a chance to win this race.
Yeah, he does. And time will only tell as to whether he will unlock the door on Freddie Rasmussen again. But we've still got plenty of laps left in the offing. Josh Ido currently sat in third as well, on for his podium as well, to say the least. Obviously, he has scored some already this season. He took one at Austria as well, not forgetting Spa. And not to mention getting pole position. That was no mean feat for the Welshman. Currently sat in third with Patrick Sheepos in fourth. Obviously, that time penalty will affect that position, moving Lucas Blakely up into fourth should it stay like this, and Blakely, as a result, will be crowned champion should he remain where he is. Luke Smith in sixth as well. A great drive, obviously, to recover after the difficulties so far in event 3. Obviously, he wasn't the most popular character earlier on in this event when he was holding up other cars. In efforts that I don't think we could quite understand at that point with Alpine. Obviously, they were trying to go for the points in the bottom 10, but nevertheless, I'm sure the other drivers didn't appreciate it. So now they head through the next left, but Luke Smith already showing that he is built for this class of field without a shadow of a doubt. Top 6 currently, with Patrick Sheepos, teammate, currently in 4th as well. Obviously, will drop down. Caraton in 8th as well, with Daniel Haddad on the cusp of the top 10, currently stuck in behind the Ferraris. Brendan Lee, another stunning performance up into the top 10 after starting where he did, once again in the bottom 5.
Yeah, shows that he needs to sort out his qualifying, doesn't he, Brendan Lee? And he'll be right in the mix. It's such a shame for Patrick Sheepos. That penalty is going to drop him a handful of positions, and such crucial championship points lost for Alpine. We'll see where he finishes in the end. But as we turn our attentions to the front of the field, Freddie Rasmussen has put in a couple of sterling laps here. He has broken DRS. He wants to finish the season on a high and to beat Thomas Ronhart. 1.1 seconds the gap right now. I'm sure Thomas is going to be pushing so hard to get back into that DRS window, but right now it's just tantalisingly close, but not enough.
Yeah, I mean, Freddie Rasmussen, he's got such a strong legacy in the world of F1 Esports, holds the most wins of any driver in this championship, and without a doubt will look to add yet another one to his locker. Of course, he would win at Silverstone. I'm sure he'd like to add Abu Dhabi to that as well this season. Of course, Red Bull dominated the team's championship for many of the seasons here in F1 Esports. They won't be taking it this year. Of course, McLaren already taking their first championship as a team. There we can see now Lucas Blakely, this time on Patrick Sheepos, 4th place on track, and that is going to solidify that 4th place for Lucas Blakely. Penalties aside, he will be in the top 4 should it stay like this.
Sure, he got a bit nervous going past, though. I don't think he probably wanted to pass Patrick Sheepos there. He's more than happy with 5th place, but Lucas Blakely just showing once again he is champion material. Nerves of steel, Lucas Blakely. It would mean so much. We've seen so many interviews with him. This is his life. He has put so many hours, literally thousands of hours, into this championship campaign. He has built himself up over the years. He wasn't picked in the pro draft. It was such disappointment for him. I remember those years ago. He was so gutted. Fast forward to 2022, and he is 2 laps away from being the F1 Esports World Champion.
I mean, you plot his story all the way from when he was picked in the pro draft, when he made that initial entrance at Racing Point all those years ago, now coming into it with McLaren, of course, joining them this season as well. We're just watching Thomas Ronhart just clear some of the traffic past his teammate. He's currently holding on to 2nd, but Blakely's story has been a sensational one, a roller coaster ride as well, but nevertheless, to win a title here in 2022 will go down a storm, as Ronhart now with Josh Ido, who has broken in to that 0.8 of a second. You do have to wonder whether his tyres are starting to go off now, Matt.
So, I've just been hearing that Marcel Kiefer has been trying to give Freddie Rasmussen some kind of tow He's been into the pits a few times. He's getting penalties galore, as you can see on screen. And he's been speaking to his team, asking Freddie, do you need a tow? Do you need DRS, etc., etc. He's trying to play the team game as much as possible here, is Marcel Kiefer. And, well, right now, Freddie Rasmussen doesn't need it. If anything, Thomas Ronhaar does, because Josh Edu is catching.
He is. He's getting closer and closer. He's not far to breaking the 0.8 of a second mark, and I think Ronhaar knows it as well. He's managed to at least apply half a tenth on him at this stage. Obviously, Ido's not worried about such things. He'll want to get into the top 2, join his Red Bull family compatriot, Freddie Rasmussen, in the top 2. Lucas Blakely still in 4th as well, but he's not concerned with podiums at this point. It's all about the big one, the championship. As now Jarno Opmeer now looks to break into the top 10 as well, chasing after Brendan Lee. Barry Burman and Caraton are coming together as well on the outset of turn 5, venturing down with the DRS. They'll come down through towards turn 6 as well. Joni Tormela stealing the fastest lap of the race to add to the plaudits of AlphaTauri, and Jarno Opmeer moves up into 10th as well with Caraton now and Barry Burman. Oh, there's been a spinner, and I think, looking at it, that is Caraton. Is it? No, it's Luke Smith. Luke Smith.
OK, so Luke Smith's gone round. I don't know what's happened there on the penultimate lap of the race here, but we've got Barry Burman with a penalty as well. But Luke Smith has dropped out of the points in the Alpine.
Yeah, he has, and obviously you've got Williams and both Alpine, both starting in the top 10, both drivers for each team in the top 10 after qualifying, and now as a result, there's almost been a switcheroo. We've got Caraton now up in the top end, Daniel Haddad, big chance for him to perhaps crack into the top 10 as well, albeit though it's going to take a lot of work with us being on the penultimate lap of this race, and now onto the final lap, and Freddie Rasmussen is going to lead them in towards turn 1.
So Patrick Schipos with that penalty as well. I don't think Alpine are going to score any points if that penalty is applied. So this is going to be really crucial. Maybe 1 point for Luke Smith, but that is such a letdown for the Alpine team. However, we move our attentions. It's the final lap of this 2022 F1 Esports season, and we have got a big old battle between Barry Burman and David Tanitsa. I think there's been a bit more contact here. Patrick Schipos is now falling down the field as well. It's all kicking off on the last lap.
It's all gone from bad to worse for Alpine, of course. They were holding on to that top 10 spot with both cars, and now we've got Luke Smith down into 10th, with now Patrick Schipos down into 14th. In comes Tanitsa as well, 2019 champion, alongside Barry Burman. He's made it count. He's made the move. Here on the final lap, the Ferrari now holds on to 6th, with Burman now letting fly to try and retake the position that he lost. Opmeer, though, looks dangerous. The Flying Dutchman looks to the outside. They will be taking the swinging left-hander now. The Silver Arrows up into 7th as well. But what a race. What a season. 2022 has delivered us so many brilliant stories. This one was involved Freddie Rasmussen, Thomas Ronhaar, also in the mix. Both of them would take Lucas Blakely all the way to the end. Freddie Rasmussen, though, for the second time in 2022, will take a victory in F1 Esports. He wins at Abu Dhabi, but Lucas Blakely, take a bow. You're champion of 2022 for the first time ever.
Lucas Blakely, you are the world champion, my friend. Wow, look at what it means. He manages to get it over the line, and you will not see more passion, more dedication, more emotion than that. Lucas Blakely, that is, take a bow. What an absolutely incredible season he has put together. We thought he was on the back foot for a while. We thought, can he hold on? Can he hold off the charge of Ronhaar? Ronhaar looked so good, but he dug so deep. Brazil comes to mind, and he is the world champion.
Yeah, I tell you what, the heart will be thumping, the tears will be flowing. Lucas Blakely is your world champion, and you can't say he doesn't deserve it. He has been a sensation this season. Plaudits to him. Amazing to see Barry Burman hugging his fellow teammate, saying, you deserve it, my friend, you deserve it. What a championship fight. Congratulations, Lucas Blakely.
Look at the scenes there. Oh my days. Lucas Blakely, take it in. This is a moment he will never, ever forget. And you can just see he is absolutely bawling his eyes out. And it just shows the amount of effort that goes in to these kind of moments. He's dreamed of this. He has absolutely dreamed of this. What an amazing, amazing time. Tom Deacon, Lucas Blakely is your world champion.
He is indeed. Wow. I'm feeling all of the emotion. I'm stood next to Hayden Gullis here in the Gfinity Arena. The last time we'll ever see something like that in this arena, but well-deserved. The tenacity, the grit, digging deep, the determination he has shown. He is a very deserving winner, isn't he?
He has been brilliant all season. Most wins of anyone this season. The consistency has been brilliant, but when it mattered, he stepped up to the plate. I think the race win yesterday said what it needed to say, and he just did exactly what he needed to do in tonight's race.
Yeah, I can only imagine what the scenes are like there. We're seeing them actually now. I can look across. I'm seeing a Christmassy vibes. I'm seeing celebrations are waiting to get underway at McLaren. We will catch up with all of the guys there. And I'm just thinking about how long the celebration interview will be with Lucas Blakely. If you've ever watched any of his interviews, boy, oh boy, we better have enough time for this, but he deserves every second of it. Right, Hayden, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll have a break. When we come back, we will have all of the analysis, and a congratulations to Freddie Rasmussen, your winner around Yas Marina. Don't go anywhere.
Lights out, and we are racing. We leave the line with a good reaction time for our pole sitter. Now, can Otmir get into the slipstream? We're line astern as we go down to turn number 1. You can see the Haas driver pulling out of the slipstream. Otmir tucks in behind Rasmussen, and is that going to be the inside line? Is that going to be the race lead? Oh, it's super brave from Rasmussen to keep his foot in and keep the race lead. Yesterday, we saw things decided very early on because a driver was able to get out of DRS range, and Shanaka Clay very close to spinning the car there as he lights it up standing on the power, and Nicholas Longay and him are battling for 8th position as we come across the line. And now we move to P2 because Jarno Otmir's getting there. Now this is fascinating. In comes our race leader, Jarno Otmir to P1. They've not gone the same way. Your question from a few moments ago, is it the worst thing to be 3rd? I don't think so. 4th, you've got to do real work if you're 4th in that train. And Rasmussen wasn't waiting to find out whether he was going to be shuffled backwards. And he has responded the next lap along. So he's going to have fresher tyres, but he's going to have to go through the pain of warming it up. Ferocious pace out there. Now, who are we going to get? So that's the Alpha moving through, out of sequence then, but he's got track position. And so it's Rasmussen, Edu, Blakely, but that warm-up phase is going to bring Edu back into play. He'll go inside a second as Rasmussen brings his tyres up to temperature. Rasmussen fighting it, doesn't want to let him by. Shows into the outside, runs him out of road. Will they make their way through? Superior grip, but not with the ability to make the move, and Edo will be involved in this as well. We will be meters away from 3 wide. Can Ron Haar go super deep like he did before and turn the outside line into the inside? He's going to fight for it. They're still side by side. He's off the road. Edo's nearly got the pair of them. And Edo goes past the Haas, past the Red Bull. They're banging wheels. And when they get the power down, it's going to be the Haas. It's Thomas Ron Haar, but look at the time he's lost. He's outside of DRS, and Barry Borland is surely the last man who can stop Jarno Otmir today. Let's get another look at what went on, and this is going to be Rasmussen up against Ron Haar, and he barges into him. The unflappable man is furious with what's gone on, and that one will stand. That one will be a penalty.
That is a slam dunk penalty. What on earth has gone on here? I don't understand that at all. What has Rasmussen done?
This man's day has finally arrived. Round the final corner for the final time. Jarno Otmir is a winner again in F1 Esports. He takes his first win of the year.
Welcome back to the F1 Esports Series Pro Championship 2022. And that is what a winner looks like. Tears galore, and quite rightfully so, because he dug so deep. Last season, finished 3rd in the Drivers' Championship, 2 wins. This year, he has 4 wins. It is well-deserved. He showed the grit, the determination, and I know that he will be making sure he thanks every single one of the guys that you see in your picture right now. The whole team, and that's what it's been, a team effort. But Lucas Blakely, you can enjoy this moment, and we know he will be speechless. nervous, but yet he will find the words to interview and chat to Ariana Bravo, who's down at McLaren Shadow. We're in the Gfinity Arena. What a championship it's been. Matt Gallagher, Hayden Gullis, George Morgan. Where do we start by talking about that race? Matt, what do you take from it?
I mean, Lucas Blakely has nerves of steel. He took the pressure. We all tried to pile it on him in the show. You were like, oh, you know, this, that, and the other. And he just drove. He just did his own race. There were moments that were a little bit, oh, should he go for the move? Should he not? But it was so measured, so composed, and Lucas Blakely is absolutely a well-deserving champion. Yeah, it could have been very different, though, Hayden. There was moments, Marcel Kiefer, there was a lap 17 of 29 where there was a plan to go out there. Things could have been very different, but let's take nothing away from Lucas Blakely, who was cool, calm and collected.
Yeah, I think it was exactly that. There was a bit of a tactics at play, especially from the Haas of Peter Stalkler. Of course, there was a plan for Marcel Kiefer. We can assume it was probably going to be the same thing that Stalkler did. But when it happened, Lucas Blakely just played it calm, didn't get into too much trouble, didn't damage his front wing, waited for the perfect opportunity to go for the overtake, and he did just that, and he secured the perfect P4.
George Morgan, the deserving champion, you would say? I mean, he's been pushed to the wire by Thomas Ronner. Freddie Rasmussen deserves a shout-out for winning this race, but would you say that Lucas deserves this one?
Definitely. I think it would have been almost cruel if it was taken away from him at this stage. I mean, we've seen a wonderful display. I said it during commentary. It's been a roller coaster of an F1 Esports career for the young man, but to come back in Event 3, taking the win, I think was crucial at Brazil. And now to come here and take the championship at Yas Marina, of all places, doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, he never gives himself an easy time, does Lucas Blakely. For everyone, I guess I speak for here, that's interviewed him, knows how much this means to him. And just to confirm the race classification as it stands at the moment, Freddie Rasmussen, your champion there with 25 points, your race winner. Thomas Ronner in second place. And Josh Ido in third place.
Champion of Yas Marina, right?
Yeah, well, of course he is. Oh, interesting enough, I wanted to call him a champ because he is in my mind. They're all amazing champions. These guys have competed this season. I hope I'm saving myself there. Yeah. But the fact that Yas Marina, we and Hayden had a very awkward moment. I'm sure we all felt it in the studio and arena. But yes, Danny Berejny was your champion back in 2018. He won that race. But this is Thomas Boroditz right now, who's the DHL Fastest Lap Award. He's my champion of the day as well. Everyone's a champion, Matt Gallagher. So there you go, DHL Fastest Lap. But your overall winner of the DHL Fastest Lap is Philip Prejnida, not racing in Event 4 due to a broken index toe on his right foot. I found that out, and that is the award that will be sent to him. Matt Gallagher, as I've mentioned a few times, everyone's a champion, but we know there's only one, and that's Lucas Blakely. But who is your Aramco driver of the day?
Oh, well, it's going to have to go to Freddie Rasmussen. It was great.
That's it.
He drove incredibly well. He went on the hard tyres. Of course, we had Ron Haar going on the mediums, going out quickly. But Freddie Rasmussen's race pace today was electric. It was really, really good. And he drove past Ron Haar, and you're thinking, oh, can he break DRS? He did. And it was a brilliant victory.
Yeah, as I said earlier, he's never been the official Pro Championship champion, but so close again, Hayden, for him.
Yeah, he's been so consistent throughout every season he's competed at, and the one time he hasn't been consistent was Mexico, when he had that little tiff with Thomas Ron Haar, which in all fairness cost him the championship. If he'd have settled for P5 that day, he would have been right there in the fight with Lucas Blakely, and it could have gone the other way, so he'd definitely be looking at that and a missed opportunity.
I'm very grateful to him for pushing Lucas all the way. George, not ruthless enough at times, but today he is the Aramco driver.
Yeah, no, I think Rasmussen, I think, has been superb. I mean, I've enjoyed watching him this season. Second win as well this season. And no doubt, in terms of race wins, he is a very successful competitor in this championship. Holds the record number of wins so far. So, yeah, you can only give him credit for that.
Teams Championship, confirmation. McLaren Shadow were already your champs going into the last race today. But Red Bull are in second place. That's where they finished. Haas in third. That's the Haas at the highest they've ever finished in a team championship. So they deserve a massive round of applause. And Williams down there with the wooden spoon. No money heading their way. I'll be interested to see what is going on there. Right, here we go. To confirm your team champions of the Pro Championship in 2022, it's McLaren Shadow. And I tell you what, they deserve it because they've had not one but two brilliant drivers back to back, I believe, at the McLaren Shadow headquarters. I think there's going to be a trophy presentation right now. Arena Bravo is with the whole team.
I am with the whole team, and I'm so excited to be with everyone. Here, you know, we've got the drivers here, and we've got all of the team behind the scenes that have worked so hard to make this happen. And I'm joined by Joel Chapman, who is the senior esports exec here at McLaren. Joel, put into words how you're all feeling.
I mean, this has just been such a special few months for the whole team. I've witnessed firsthand just how much effort and work this entire team puts in, and for it all to result in not only a Constructors' Championship but a Drivers' Championship from MTC has just been such a special feeling. So, yeah.
You can feel the energy from all of these guys. I mean, they've been hard at work all the last few days, but now it's all come together. They've, of course, secured the team championship and the drivers now. Joel, what is it about this team that works so well together?
Firstly, it's just hard work. The amount of hard work every single member of the team, from our development drivers, our engineers, and of course the drivers, but also through to the team spirit. You know, we're such a tight-knit group of individuals. You know, we do everything together. When we're here together, we really enjoy each other's company, and it's all kind of culminated, I guess, in success. So it's just been an absolute pleasure to work with this group of people.
Right, everyone, I think it's time that you actually get your hands on that team trophy. Do you three want to do the honour of raising it? Let's give you a round of applause. McLaren Shadow, the team champions of 2022. Come on, guys, clap for yourselves. This is your trophy. Woo! Well, there you have it, the first time they're getting their hands on that team trophy. And of course, we have another trophy to present to, but we'll be coming back very shortly to present Lucas with the driver's trophy. But back to you guys for now.
Thank you very much, Arena Bravo. Making sure everyone was clapping, and I like to see that. We need to feel the energy that they've obviously said is definitely there. Joel Chapman, less is more. Not going into details of why they're that winning team, but he must be thrilled. This is the first time they've ever won the team championship.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, there's a lot of prize money up for grabs, but also the fact that their esports program's clearly working. Who they signed, of course, with Lucas Blakely and Barry Burman, really, really crucial. Wilson Hughes, of course, in the background as well. But they're a team that absolutely, next year as well, are going to be the team to beat.
Yeah, Red Bull had a grip, didn't they, Hayden? Then it went to Mercedes, now McLaren Shadow. They are going to have a target on their back for next year, aren't they?
Yeah, certainly. Every team is going to be looking at them. What did they do differently this season? What are they doing behind the scenes that gave them that competitive edge? And trying to copy that as much as they can.
OK, George, I need all of you guys. If you could get Hayden and Matt ready to clap, because we're going to applaud them. Let's go back to McLaren Shadow. But before that, let's confirm the Drivers' Championship. These are your final standings of the 2022 season. 181 points for Lucas Blakely. In second place is Freddie Rasmussen. Third, Thomas Runner. What a rookie season he has had. And Barry Borman, the McLaren Shadow second driver, finishes in fourth. And your previous two-time champion, Jana Watmir, I now can confirm the driver champion for this year is the one and only Lucas Blakely.
I can feel the emotions from you, Lucas, as you stand beside me. How does this feel? Your first championship within F1 Esports. What was going through your mind in those last few laps?
I was trying to think as little as possible because it was, you know, that race felt like it went on forever. I just had to stay so focused the whole time. I mean, it was, I was expecting everything to happen, and there was quite a few scary moments in the race. But yeah, when I came across the line, it still doesn't feel real. I'm just speechless at the moment. And I just wanted to take a very quick moment to, you know, thank the whole team. You know, thanks to McLaren for, you know, believing in me and, you know, giving us as a whole team, from, you know, the drivers, the devs, the engineers, the best possible platform to, you know, succeed. And yeah, I've got to, you know, say a quick thanks to my family watching at home as well, because, you know, they sacrificed so much to let me go racing in the first place. And this is very much our championship. So Mum, Dad, Zach, I love you. I know you're watching. This is our championship.
Oh, Lucas, this feels so special. I'm so happy to be here with you. I can feel how much this means to you. It was so special, and having all your team around you as well. Are you ready to get your hands on your trophy?
I think so.
Yeah? You think so? Maybe? Go on. Oh, okay, we're not going to let you lift it yet, actually. Sorry, we're going to let you compose yourself. Sorry, we're just building the suspense, guys. Okay, we're going to go back to the studio first, then we're going to come back to you so that you can have a full moment to compose yourself and soak up every second of that.
What? No, I want to see him lift the trophy. No, I'm kidding. Just 1 second before we get to that moment. Lucas Blakely, we know what he's been through to get to this moment. The dad, John Blakely, from here, didn't get drafted, to have the tenacity to come back the next season, get drafted to this moment. That was actually the shortest interview I've ever seen with Lucas Blakely.
Yeah, and he had his own microphone as well. He could have gone on for
That's
days.
dangerous. That was very dangerous. George, you haven't really had that opportunity before we went to see that trophy lift. Why is Lucas Blakely your champion this year?
Well, I mean, I've had the fortune of observing this young man in the grassroots of league racing and pushing himself to the top and seeing him rise from step by step to move into Racing Point all that time ago in the pro draft, to then eventually take a seat in the McLaren team. It was a perfect fit. It was like a perfect shoe. It just ended up working. The team working so well together. They got a great backroom staff, a great management team. All the pieces of the puzzle just fitted together. And Lucas, as a consequence, well, he's your champion.
Yeah, he is the champion. I don't think if anyone else won, we'd have seen as many tears. It's an emotional day, you know. This is the last time in the Gfinity Arena. It's the Pro Championship 2022. A massive thank you to everyone, but I'll save that 1 second, actually, all of the thank yous. Just one more time. Let's get down there and let's give the man the trophy he definitely deserves.
I felt so cruel there, just like offering the opportunity to lift the trophy and taking it away from you. But now it's for real, Lucas. It's your moment. Pick up the trophy.
All right, then, we are witnessing a moment. His first maiden championship. One he definitely deserves. A massive thank you to all of the team, which he has done so, to his family. Listen, guys, to everyone who's been watching, thank you so much. It's a real privilege to be able to share this with Lucas and the rest of the guys. Massive thank you to Matt Gallagher, to Hayden Gullis, to George Morgan, to Nick Hamilton, who's not here, to Alex Jakes, who's getting married right now, to everyone who's been involved, Steph Wentworth, to Maxine MXN. Thank you so much. We'll see you next year. 10 Formula One teams,
Absolutely stacked with talent.
race together across 12 rounds
What a fantastic challenge.
with $750,000 to be won.
This is spine-tingling.
The competition just keeps getting better.
And we go racing. He's fighting his teammate Lucas Blakely. He wins the opening race of the year.
Everyone wants a spot on this esports show.
My job is to go eat some cake.
Absolutely incredible action.
Driver of the day today, how does it feel?
Thank you, Matt. Thank you. I love your videos, commentary. And thank you, you too.
It's been a Silverstone masterclass for Freddie Rasmussen. Big opportunity now.
Haas, best start to a season ever.
Run hard across the line.
The show is not about the accidental fact that we have worn the same outfit.
For the first time, I am the F1 Esports winner.
Let's get down to business.
Tight to the...
A bit of frustration creeping in there.
Lights go out, we're racing. Tries the swap, tries the dummy. Oh, brilliant. It's gone absolutely wild.
One title, 5 drivers, and one incredible event coming up.
And it is go, 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 go.
Oh, no.
Deary me.
Out.
Nicholas Longay wins.
Here we go then.
And it looks very much like the Haas's day is done. Lucas Blakely wins.
Who is going to be crowned champion? It's on fire here.
Lucas Blakely, take a bow. You're champion of 2022 for the first time ever.